Hey folks, Dusty here. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about farming and homesteading and what I'm doing about that now, what I've done about it before, and what I want to do about it in the future. I realized about a year or so ago that I had the opportunity to pretty much go anywhere I wanted to and live the lifestyle that I was destined to live. Two things popped into my head almost immediately. One was the location where I was going, and two was what I was going to do. The first one we're going to leave open for now, but the second one was farming or homesteading. So back several years ago, almost a couple lifetimes ago it seems, my then wife and I found ourselves in a situation where we kind of had to step back and reset and see what we were going to do. There was over a 48-hour period where both of us found out that we had lost our jobs. An awkward situation to say the least, but there was some obvious concern and question as to what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. But nevertheless, we knew we would pull through. So we took that opportunity, really, for both of us to look back at what we had been doing and then decide from there what we really wanted to do. We took that opportunity for her to go to nursing school, which is something that she wanted to do for a dozen years. She just never had the opportunity to do it before. So she chose to do that, and I fully encouraged her 100% to go get her nursing degree. So while she was doing the nursing degree thing, I had to figure out what I was going to do. Now, we had some kids, not together, but we each had kids separately. What do we do with 5 kids while neither of us has an income? She enrolled in a nursing program that was about a year and a half long, and we circled the wagons, made some changes, changed our living arrangements, moved in with family. So long story short, we got a dozen chicks. They say that chickens are the gateway drug to farming, and I 100% agree with that. Then we got 2 goats. Then we got 2 ducks. Then we added in a pig. Later on we added in 3 turkey chicks. Further down the road we added in a couple batches of broilers. So again, chickens are definitely the gateway drug to farming. Now, this was a hobby farm. It wasn't a big operation or anything, but we had more eggs than we could eat as a family, and that included the extended family as well. So even though money was tight, and of course there was a lot of work to do around the farm, and I handled a lot of the daily chores, she obviously contributed as well, but she really enjoyed that farming aspect of it. We also had a garden at the time, a big garden. And that took a lot of work to get started because it was in just a grass area. At any rate, aside from having and raising my kids, farming was by far the most rewarding time of my life. And I say that with complete sincerity because despite the work, despite being out in the rain and the snow and the wind and the cold and dealing with the water freezing and eggs freezing and carrying buckets of water out, despite all of that, it really resonated with me and it really warmed my soul, if you will. Again, it was by far the most rewarding, I guess, occupation or hobby that I've ever been involved in, then that says a lot. I've done a lot of things over the years, a lot of different avenues of occupation, I guess you could say. Again, farming just blows everything out of the water. Fast forward several chapters in a completely different lifetime. Several times I've looked back and looked back at my favorite parts of that time as far as farming goes, and the chickens, for one, they're just always happy. And pigs are just a lot of fun to keep. Not everybody would probably agree with that, but I really enjoyed having our pig when we had her. So those are certainly two things that I definitely wanted to get back into for several years. The other, of course, is gardening. Due to life changes and circumstances and moving around and things like that, not all those things were ever always possible. For the last 5 years, I've lived in a place where we weren't even allowed to have chickens, which is ridiculous, because I can go a half mile up the road and I'm allowed to have chickens. That's really insane as far as I'm concerned. I have space here where I could have just a small flock of birds. I could have layers, I could have some broilers, I could have a few turkeys, but not allowed. As we all know, life brings changes to us, to our families, and presents us with different situations. And despite what we may want to believe, all of these are opportunities of some sort. Whether it be a windfall of cash, a new job, land purchase, or sickness or tragedy, on some level, these are all opportunities. And I think what we a lot of times neglect to do is to see the opportunities, because the opportunities are clouded by the circumstances. So what life has done for me is allowed me to be in a situation now where I have the opportunity to get back into farming, back into homesteading, and back into that lifestyle that I feel was truly rewarding.